Gear 5 is an overpowered power done right. Luffy's devil fruit power is rubber, which is limited, and he has to find a gimmick to beat his opponents. He unlocks Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, which are both incredibly strong and powerful. His power is a perfect counter to those who impose authoritarian rule and is a symbol of freedom. Luffy's Gear 5 is a form of his devil fruit power that allows him to be liberated from the shackles of reality. He's able to stretch and twist and contort as long as he's still within these bounds of reality. He's also able to blow up his hand into a massive balloon and whack people with a force of 1,000 times as strong as his regular punch. Luffy had to almost die just so the jumps of liberation can naturally start playing. Even before Luffy awakened, he was using Logia-like abilities like having fire surround his punches during Red Rock. There really isn't any explanation to this as of now, so maybe he's able to do this because of the abilities of the Nika fruit. In chapter 1045, we got a pretty good explanation as to what's going on with Luffy's new Gear 5 Devil Fruit awakening, and we also got to see some amazing feats of him embarrassing Kaido in literally comical fashion. Luffy isn't even fighting anyone, he's straight chilling on the rooftop. Normally, Luffy takes big fights very seriously, but in his awakened state, he suddenly can't stop laughing and uses his powers in quirky ways that he seems to find amusing. Luffy even makes Kaido become rubber on multiple occasions, but the most significant comes at the end of the chapter when he literally punches through Kaido's head. Also, when Luffy goes down to grab Kaido with his giant Gear 3rd arm, he doesn't shout Gear 3rd, he doesn't blow steam or air into his hand. He can just do it. His transformations are now instantaneous. Gear 5th is the perfect blend of all the previous gears. Once Luffy grabs Kaido and brings them up to the rooftop, he starts twirling him around like a wet towel. And here's the thing, we see the cartoon eyes yet again coming out of Kaido. The comic eyes are hilarious to look at, especially on Kaido, and I'm not sure if this is because of Luffy turning even Kaido into a comic character or just Oda being funny. He can also turn his surroundings into rubber. This is one of his biggest advantages since the whole battleground is treated like his home turf on which he can keep bouncing and laughing at his opponents. Also, don't forget that Nika is a legendary figure that slaves prayed to in the hope that he would bring smiles to their faces and freedom from their suffering. It's also mentioned that no one knows whether or not he actually used to exist or if he was just simply dreamed up, which was of course perfect foreshadowing. So what seems to be happening here is that the drumbeats of Nika is bringing smiles to people's faces and freeing them from their suffering. Maybe it's also a hope for One Piece fans that on August 6th, the Gear 5 episode will break the internet just like the Ultra Instinct Goku did. It literally broke the internet. Like even Crunchyroll servers were down and YouTube views counts were broken. Gear 5 Luffy has the potential and the build up to finally give One Piece fans something to go against Dragon Ball fans. One of the main reasons for all this hype is when you think generic main character superpowers, the last thought that will pop into your head is rubber. Luffy having the power of rubber had every sign that it will fail, becoming a good power for a main character moving forward. A rubber man is just a dude that his arms and stuff can stretch and chase. The very first thing we see Luffy do after turning into Gear 5 is grab Kaido with his bare hands, pull him out of Onigoshima, leap him up into the sky, and then swing him around going face first into the floor. It also helps giving the main character a comedic look, which Gear 5 adapted into perfectly, like that move Luffy uses on Kaido when he's using him as a literal jump rope. Does even Roger or Garp or Prime Whitebeard have the physical strength to grab Kaido and use him as a jump rope? The craziest thing about this is that when facing Lucci, Luffy one-shots him while literally laughing, showing that he's just toying with him and having fun. Luffy gets completely torched by Kaido's blast breath and then just completely rubs it off as if it was nothing. Try to keep in mind that these are the same moves that previously killed him and he's now taking them to the head and laughing them off. Luffy is showing hacky skills in the state that rivals the top dogs of Navy. It's also funny and awesome at the same time when he grabs a piece of lightning and then chucks it at Kaido. He also starts swinging around a different lightning bolt, treating it like a gymnastics pole, and then uses it to fling off towards Kaido. This one move is maybe good enough to keep Enelon Moon forever. I also like the reasoning from Luffy that he can only turn into Gear 5 when he completely feels free. It's like the strongest fruit in the series now. It was this fruit that was guarded by the Marines. It was this fruit that Shanks stole. Turns out Luffy ate the awesomest fruit ever. I understand people being frustrated with it, but I also understand how well it actually fits with the overarching themes of the series. So if you want Luffy to go against a guy who was a walking volcano or a guy that freezes oceans just to paddle over it on a cycle, you needed Luffy to have some off-the-charts power, and Gear 5 it is. We have seen how crazy it is when these devil fruits get awakened and they get to unlock these crazy crazy powers that are at the limit of our imaginations. And what better power to fight those broken devil fruits than that of a man from 800 years ago, so powerful and so legendary that the world government had to completely erase him from history because just his tail alone is a threat. After Luffy awakened Gear 5, we can finally see just how strong and godly Joy Boy was and will be if he ever appears in One Piece. Luffy has now one of the best fruits in One Piece, and the hype keeps getting better and better. Since this video got a bit serious with theories and facts, go check out our video on One Piece memes to line up your mood. See you guys soon in the next video!